Hello, Peter. Wanted to shoot you a video, get you caught up on where we're at. I've been a little lackadaisical with my videos, so I'm gonna try and get back on top of that. Okay, so our can lights. We got the can lights in the kitchen. That's this set on dimmers. We've kind of gone over our kitchen and how we separated and pulled a couple different circuits to get different circuits, 2 circuits on the countertop, which is standard. Separate circuit for the micro. Separate circuit for a disposal underneath the sink. Same with the fridge over here. Okay, and then we got the can lights in on this side as well. The 2. They are also on dimmer as well. Okay, in the bath, last time you had asked for a measurement for that mirror. After you did, I was like, oh, the GFCI is kind of crowding us out a bit. So we shifted that over a little bit. So you could squeeze, would probably be tighter than we wanted to, but a 24-inch. There's 26 inches between the wall and the receptacle. Probably a mirror, we'd maybe be looking at 18 to 20 to kind of fit in there looking nicely. And for height-wise, you could go, 24 to 30 on that guy. The ventless fan. Man, I've been searching. I found one. Braun makes one. Doesn't have a light. They kind of advertised it as that they have a kit that can convert a fan without a light to one with a light. And it looked like they sold these 2 as a pair, but they don't work out. They don't line up quite right. The way the light hooks to the fan, the way it would hook to me is only one switch, and it would control the light and the fan, and then the actual housing of the light isn't quite compatible with this housing I have for the fan. So right now we're looking at maybe fan only here, or I'm thinking about it a little more and looking things over. We probably could run a fan with a vent and get it vented out the end of the house, because this is a gable end out here. So we're gonna side anyway, so we could potentially get a run out here and have it vent outside. Then we could do a light and a fan. So maybe that's our option, or if you just wanted to go with fan only, we could do that, and we got the recycling fan and don't have to worry about venting it. Or maybe you'll have more luck finding a ventless fan with a light. So that's where we are with that. Now we ended up, we knew we needed to ground living room, these 2 back bedrooms. And as we started doing that, we started running into wiring issues. A lot of the old metal boxes were loose. The wires in there really get crammed in there because they are quite a bit smaller than the newer ones. You can kind of tell there. We did save that one and got a ground wire on it. Actually, these 2 have a ground wire on it. We didn't replace that. That wire was still in good shape, and we were able to chase it through. One of the issues we ran into was, you can see in here, that's we left that box as is, new wiring going to it. That's our new box that we added, and that was the existing. That box is still a metal one. It was in there solid, so we left it. Our light coming up through there, same thing. There's our new hall light that had about 6 wires originally kind of going into it, and it spread out to this back bedroom to upstairs, so there's a ton of stuff kind of tied through there. And back in those days, they just taped their wires up. It's an old tape. It's you'll see some of it. I got some pieces saved around. And here we added there and there. This guy, we were able to save the box, but there's new wiring behind it. That one we saved. Again, we got the light in here. This light and this light will be on a remote switch. Our hall light, we got a switch here for that guy. The ceiling light in here, we have a switch as well. And it's a 3-way switch with this guy here. Originally, this switch switched a receptacle, but with the light in the ceiling, we omitted that. Let's see, let me just go downstairs for a quick second. This was some of the problems we started running into right here. You can see this guy when it was finished down here and they had the ceilings and the walls. Once everything came out, there were squirrel nests. There was a big squirrel nest up in that little guy here. There was a squirrel nest over here, kind of underneath the main door back in there. It's hard to see, but there's a gap kind of underneath the door threshold, and that had a squirrel nest all tucked up in it. And then what you get is the squirrels that chew on the wires and do damage. So that gives us a lot of pause to think about what we're doing as we're doing it. As far as wanting this to be safe and sound. So we ended up pulling new wires to most of our receptacles, wires that were running around the basement here. A lot of time, you try and save wires, you try to save the boxes, and it's when you run into this stuff, it really makes it hard. Sometimes a lot of times it's just easier to pull a new wire and start from fresh. Like we pulled this guy out, and you can see it's raggedy all along there. It went down here to this wire, and we ended up we got a bad bulb here. Like I say, just kind of turns out to be easier running new. So that's what we kind of did. And also what you run into is they used to not use junction boxes, and you end up finding taped up. This is a newer taped up something. There was a nick in that wire that got taped up. Obviously, with all these walls and ceiling was in here, you get nails going different spots and nicks in some wires that we found. There's more upstairs that have been taped together that we found. And you don't want something like this in a wall. I have talked to a guy I know, used to do mason work with years ago. I originally had talked to him about New Hope, the pool over there, because he does a lot of flat work. And he was interested in it at the time. This was last year. Now I did contact him this spring, and he's got no help. Can't get anybody to help him. So he probably said he wouldn't be able to do any kind of big jobs. But then he ended up calling me back the next week, and because I told him if he wanted to get into some smaller stuff, we could have some smaller stuff, and I could possibly help him along the way when he needs help. So hopefully said he was gonna contact me today or tomorrow, and I'm hoping I can get him over here to look at working this basement. Skim coat, patch these cracks, and work on our pilasters. So hopefully that'll happen. Okay, downstairs looking pretty good. We ran, I believe, I'll get them counted up, but I think we ran 5 new circuits. Two definitely upstairs, and then in the kitchen, by the time we did our GFCIs, our micros, disposals, these canned lights are on their own circuit. We put insulation in there. These walls all have blown in insulation in them. You can see there, they're blown in. Yeah. Now this one, we were able to reuse a couple wires here. We tried to do that where we could really chase the wires down and know that they weren't taped or chewed on. Upstairs, we knew we were definitely pulling new circuits up here. Okay, this is going to be our new switch box when you first come up, which is going to have these 2 canned lights that are going to be right here in this area, and it's going to work the ceiling fan and light here. And that light on that ceiling fan is going to be on a 3-way switch, and there's a switch down here underneath that rail for that. And then we've got our new wires run here. And then they get into our chimney and drop down into the basement. These will be the new can lights for this area, and that'll be our new switch. New wire going into that guy, and that actually has a switch there too. I didn't notice it did. So that receptacle will be switched. So if you get plug-in lights, like we had talked, they will be able to at least be on a switch in here. So we can tuck the wires up and make it look neat. New wire pulled along here. And that's going to be fresh sheetrock on top of that. So it'll cover these holes, and we'll put existing construction boxes in these bigger holes here. So they'll slide. When we cut our sheetrock, we'll cut them in and push them right into place, and then put our boxes in where our wires are sticking out. Okay, and this wall won't get re-sheetrocked. We'll just patch our path. We put wire protectors across this whole thing. And then there's our 2 receptacles on that wall, there and there. Here's another shot of what we were kind of running into in these walls. Wires, old wire, newer wire, but taped together with this old tape. Not good to have in your wall. This is actually a 3-wire cable here connected to a 2-wire cable in there. Now, we didn't cut it open to see exactly what they did, but not real good. And those were buried in walls. over here behind that switch and stuff over here was one of them. There was a couple in this guy. So I always get a little nervous when I start seeing them. Who knows how many people have worked on the wiring of this house over the 80 plus years it's been here. I feel good now about where everything is at with the wiring. Safe. We started to put our new framing up for our sheetrock ceiling, which is gonna be like this. And then we'll have our wire running down the center. We'll bring these ones over to here, put some wire protectors on them, and be able to hang this sheetrock up around our wiring. Railing, I'm kind of leaning towards saving it now. It's a nice railing. Needs, a little work. Obviously, it kind of had come apart here. I just put a couple screws in it just to, while we're working, just to keep it a little stiff. It came apart here, but that can be, it's got a little, what do they call those? That can be re-glued. And I think if we put another bracket right as close as we can over here, that'll help give it some support, kind of that way. This one's a little loose, but we can, we've actually already got the ceiling cut out down there for our electric can lights. So I think we can put another brace in up under this thing and get some solid screws up through the center and get it solid again. And I think you could save a little money doing that. What else? What else? Pump it out. Like I said, the rails are in good shape themselves, just that loose, and I think we can get them tightened up. The openings here, thinking we'll kind of do what we did at Apple Ridge. It'll be there, but we'll kind of frame it up, insulate it, put our doors back on, and fasten them shut so no renters, or we don't want anybody in here. It's dirty and nasty in there, but we would be nice to have access to, we can get access to the main bath fan, the main stacks in there. So good to still keep an access to that, and there is a light in there. And if you ever wanted electric kind of over here somewhere, it would be accessible from inside there. Easy enough to punch out through that wall. Okay. Okay, so that's that. We'll be shifting into getting this upstairs framed out today, and maybe even hanging a little sheetrock up here, see how far we get. I'm gonna do a Home Depot run this morning to hook up with some sheetrock and some final electrical touches. A few boxes we need and a couple other things. Okay, look good out here. Bathroom. We kind of discussed our what we're doing with the tub. You like the white, so we'll stick with the Delta on that. And you're still probably thinking about our sink option here. Okay. Other than that, the bathroom's looking good. We'll be thinking about this fairly quickly. We'll get this all sheetrocked out here, patch all our holes, hang a few sheets here in the kitchen, frame up our chimney chase, and start getting ourselves ready for some sheetrock cement. There's our island. I didn't tape it out all the way. Right there is our line. There, and there's our cabinetry line is here. 42 inches in between there, and about the same there, about 42-ish. Same on the other side, so it's centered up in there nicely. Now coming this way, here's our end. Here's the end of our island this way. That is, I forget what the actual measurement on that was, 24 and 18 and 15 is what it is. And then if you go out here, you can see the mark here. That's about the end of our refrigerator. So our island right there is kind of olive in the middle of our refrigerator. So you got the 42 inches. Definitely, I would say a countertop depth fridge, and then probably with the French door style. Just so when you open the doors, it's not closing off the hallway. Okay, and our undercanned lights are there, waiting to poke through our sheetrock. We got one here, we got one here ready to go. This guy will be under countertop, and this will be our under cabinet lights. And they'll be operated on the switch there with the blue tape. Okay. I'm going to leave it right there for now. Let me know what you're thinking. What you're thinking maybe on the fan. Like I say, I think we could vent it, by putting our hole in there, and then when we side it, we could punch it out the end here. We could even, well, there's a light here. I was gonna say we could put an access panel to this attic here. If we wanted, we still probably could. But we could get that done, even if we only put a small hole in the closet. A small hole in the closet over here, and then along with this hole that's here, we could stretch out our venting pipe, be able to hook it to our fan there, and then just have it kind of laying out here. And when we get out there doing our siding, we punch a hole in the siding, grab that, and stick it out the side. So we could do that. That wouldn't be too crazy laborious. That guy will get framed in and sheetrocked. Karen had came over and she said, "Man, are we saving these hardwood floors?" I I hadn't really thought about it. I don't remember if we had talked about saving the hardwood floors in this living area, the hall, and these 2 back bedrooms. You know, they're not awful. They probably need a little bit of a sanding and polyurethane. Probably this floor in here might be somewhat the worst shape because it seems very kind of dryish in here. Obviously, they've got staples from carpets in them. You can see them along in there. You know, there was old thresholds here, carpet staples. You know, same thing out here, a set of carpet staples down the center. Here's where some carpet kind of stuck to it in the main traffic areas. But I believe they call that character on these old hardwood floors. So let me know what you're thinking on that, just so I can, like I say, they're going to have dings and they're going to have character and all that. But, I mean, there's some square footage here. If you could avoid, you know, maybe putting flooring on it. You know, it may be not forever, but maybe you could squeeze some time out of them. You know, that would actually make these new floors, when you come to them, just about work out even with the existing hardwoods. Not that that matters, but just throwing it out there. Okay, so let me know on that. That way I can at least have it in my mind and make sure we're not throwing anything around on these floors to do any further character to them. All right, Peter, we'll talk. Have a great day.